The voice of doubt is subtly paralyzing your faith, isn't it? Today, we're going to learn how to silence that voice and unlock the abundant life God designed for you, a life not bound by the chains of comfort or distraction, but forged in the discipline of divine purpose. We often find ourselves adrift, pulled by the currents of convenience and instant gratification, wondering why our spiritual journey feels stagnant, why our prayers feel unheard, and why the potential we sense within never quite breaks through. It's a quiet despair, a gnawing feeling that we're meant for more, yet we consistently choose paths that lead us away from our true calling. This isn't about lacking motivation. It's about a deeper, more insidious enemy, the weak habits we unknowingly cultivate, the tiny, seemingly insignificant choices that day by day chisel away at our identity and reshape our future into something far less than what God intends. These aren't just personal failings. They are spiritual roadblocks, hindering the flow of God's grace and power in our lives. We've been told that faith moves mountains, but what if our own small, undisciplined actions are building mountains right in our path? What if the very comfort we seek is the cage we're building around our spirit? It's a sobering thought, but it's also a powerful truth that holds the key to liberation. The truth is, your identity right now and the person you are becoming is a direct reflection of the habits you practice most consistently, whether in the quiet moments of temptation or the loud demands of daily life. This isn't merely a philosophical problem. It's a deeply spiritual one, rooted in the ongoing battle for our minds and spirits. We live in an age of unprecedented distraction, where every click and notification pulls us further from intentional living, from the quiet discipline required to truly hear God's voice and act on His promptings. Are you tired of feeling like you're running on a treadmill, expending energy but going nowhere? That sense of being stuck, that lingering frustration, often stems from a fundamental misalignment. Our desires for spiritual growth clash with our daily routines, which are unconsciously built on comfort, laziness, and constant diversion. We mistakenly believe that transformation is a lightning bolt event, a sudden surge of motivation that will fix everything. But the truth, a profound spiritual truth, is that transformation is a daily grind, a consistent, deliberate choice to train your mind to reject the easy path, to instantly replace weak thoughts with strong, purposeful actions. It's about recognizing that every moment is an opportunity to forge your spirit, to shape your character, and to build the person God calls you to be. It's not about being perfect, but about being persistent, about teaching your brain to value the profound reward of effort over the fleeting pleasure of immediate comfort. This journey demands a ruthless honesty with ourselves, a willingness to look at our patterns and declare, no more. It demands that we protect our focus as fiercely as we protect our faith, understanding that distraction is a thief of purpose. If you're ready to stop merely existing and start truly living, if you're ready to build a life of purpose and freedom that honors God, then I invite you to join this community of intentional living. Subscribe to this channel and share your own struggles and breakthroughs in the comments below, because together we are stronger. One of the most persistent obstacles we face is the comfortable illusion of tomorrow. We tell ourselves that today we'll just rest, we'll just scroll a little longer, we'll put off that difficult conversation, that moment of prayer, that act of service, because tomorrow we'll be more energized, more motivated, more ready. But tomorrow never truly arrives with the promised surge of motivation. It always arrives as another today, bringing with it the same temptations and the same choice. This is the subtle trap of procrastination, a spiritual dullness that prevents us from seizing the present moment, which is the only moment we truly possess to act. The principle of overcoming this is simple, yet profound: immediate replacement. When a weak thought, a lazy impulse, or a distracting urge arises, you don't just resist it. You immediately replace it with a strong, purposeful action. Consider the story of Ethan, a young man who felt perpetually overwhelmed by his aspirations. He wanted to start a small ministry, to write, to serve. But every evening he found himself lost in endless online content, telling himself he'd start fresh tomorrow. The tomorrow never came. His breakthrough began when he decided that the moment he felt the urge to open a social media app, he would immediately pick up his Bible, even if just for a minute, or write one sentence of his sermon notes, or send one encouraging text message to someone he knew needed it. He didn't wait for motivation. He acted on a new, disciplined impulse. This wasn't about perfection, but about consistent, immediate redirection. This immediate replacement strategy doesn't just apply to obvious distractions. It's also crucial for conquering the second major obstacle, the overwhelming fear of discomfort. We are so conditioned to seek ease that even the slightest resistance, the smallest challenge to our comfort zone, sends us retreating. We avoid the difficult conversation, the early morning prayer, the rigorous study, the demanding work, because our brains are wired to conserve energy and avoid pain. But here's the surprising revelation. Growth, true spiritual and personal growth, only happens on the other side of discomfort. The Bible tells us that iron sharpens iron, Proverbs 27:17. And just as a blacksmith shapes metal through intense heat and repeated blows, our character is forged through intentional friction, through pushing against the edges of what feels comfortable. Think about the Apostle Paul, who spoke of buffeting his body, 1 Corinthians 9:27. He wasn't talking about self-harm, but about constant, disciplined self-denial for the sake of the gospel. He understood that his fleshly desires, his natural inclination towards ease, had to be brought into submission to his spiritual purpose. This isn't about punishment. It's about preparation. It's about building spiritual muscle. Practical application means consciously seeking out moments of discomfort each day. It could be waking up 15 minutes earlier to pray, choosing to walk when you'd rather drive, or engaging in a conversation you've been avoiding. Each tiny act of chosen discomfort is a spiritual victory, teaching your brain that effort leads to reward, and that the discomfort itself is a sign you're growing, not failing. Are we truly willing to embrace the forge if it means becoming the person God has called us to be? This brings us to a crucial spiritual turning point: understanding that self-discipline isn't just about willpower. It's an act of worship. It's a declaration that God's purpose for our lives is more important than our fleeting desires for comfort. The central biblical truth here is found in Romans 12:2, which encourages us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This isn't a passive transformation. It's an active, daily renewal of the mind, a deliberate breaking away from the world's patterns of ease and instant gratification. This is the spiritual forge, where our character is hammered and shaped by intentional choices. True inner transformation begins when we see our habits not just as personal quirks, but as reflections of our deepest beliefs about God and ourselves. If we consistently choose comfort over calling, it subtly communicates a lack of trust in God's provision or a lack of belief in our own potential. But when we choose discipline, when we choose effort and intentionality, we are mirroring God's own creative, purposeful nature. We are aligning our will with His. This isn't a grim obligation, it's an empowering partnership. It's the moment we realize that every time we choose the harder, more purposeful path, we are not just building a better version of ourselves. We are building a stronger vessel for God's work, a more refined instrument for His glory. This truth reshapes our entire perspective on self-control, elevating it from a burdensome chore to a sacred practice. This new perspective offers a profound shift. We stop seeing discipline as deprivation and start seeing it as liberation. It's not about what we're giving up, but what we're gaining. Freedom from the tyranny of our own impulses. Freedom to pursue God's calling without the constant drag of weak habits. Consider Sarah's testimony. For years, she felt trapped in a cycle of negativity and self-doubt, constantly comparing herself to others on social media. Her mornings began with scrolling, her evenings ended with mindless entertainment, and her prayer life felt dry and distant. She came to a point of despair, feeling utterly disconnected from God. Her breakthrough came when she realized her habits were a form of spiritual neglect. She decided to treat her mornings as sacred, non-negotiable time with God. She started by simply putting her phone in another room the night before, forcing herself to choose her Bible or a journal over immediate digital distraction. It was hard at first, but she persisted, viewing each small victory as an act of faith. Within a few months, her entire outlook transformed. She felt a profound sense of peace and purpose she hadn't known in years. Her work became more focused. Her relationships deepened, and her faith became vibrant. She wasn't just trying harder. She was consistently choosing to cultivate the garden of her soul, planting seeds of discipline and uprooting weeds of distraction. Her life became a powerful testament to the truth that consistency, even in small acts, compounds into monumental change. This expansive application means that every area of our lives, from our finances to our relationships, can be transformed by this intentional approach. Now, let's talk about the practical steps, the daily choices that will build your new reality. First, diligently study and destroy the triggers of your bad habits. Just as a gardener identifies weeds by their roots, you must identify what prompts your distractions, your laziness, your procrastination. Is it a notification sound? A particular time of day? A feeling of boredom or stress? Once identified, ruthlessly eliminate them or create barriers. Second, build robust daily routines that make weak habits impossible. This is about becoming the architect of your tomorrow. If you want to pray more, schedule it. If you want to read your Bible, place it where you see it first thing. If you want to avoid late-night scrolling, charge your phone in another room. Design your environment to support your desired behaviors. Third, consistently challenge your comfort zone, but start small. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Pick one area, one small discomfort, and conquer it daily. Wake up 5 minutes earlier. Do one difficult task before checking email. These small victories accumulate and build momentum. Fourth, and perhaps most critically, steadfastly refuse to negotiate with excuses. Your mind will offer 1,000 reasons to delay, to relax, to give in. Recognize these as temptations, not valid arguments. When the excuse arises, respond with immediate, purposeful action. The path to transformation is paved with consistent effort, not perfect execution. This journey we've discussed today is not just about becoming more productive. It's about becoming more aligned with God's divine design for your life. It's about realizing that your identity is not fixed by your past failures, but forged by your present, intentional choices. You are not merely a recipient of grace. You are a co-creator with God, called to steward your time, your talents, and your spirit with purpose. As you embrace this path of disciplined faith, you will begin to see a future not just filled with potential, but actively being realized. Imagine a life where your actions consistently reflect your highest values, where your peace is not dependent on external circumstances, but on the inner strength cultivated through daily spiritual discipline. Imagine the impact you could have, the lives you could touch, the purpose you could fulfill, once the shackles of weak habits are broken. This is not a distant dream. It is an attainable reality, one deliberate choice at a time. The work is hard, yes, but the reward is immeasurable. A life of profound freedom, deep purpose, and unwavering connection to the one who made you for greatness. If this message has resonated with your spirit, if you feel a stirring within to step into this deeper calling, I invite you to take the next step. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone who is also seeking to break free from the chains of complacency. Let's build a community of intentional living, where we encourage each other, share our victories and our struggles, and collectively strive to live lives that truly honor our Creator. Your journey towards a life of purpose starts now, not tomorrow.